Good morning, my name is Chris Fox, and today we are talking about mailing lists. This is the core of your career as an author. It is how you will get a hold of your fans for the rest of your life. This is how you reach them. These are the people that voluntarily want to sign up to your list to hear about you, to hear about your books and what you've got coming out. And gathering that information is a challenge, and using it is even more of a challenge. And I've had some big victories in the last few years, but I've also allowed my list to atrophy. I've had a couple that I've used barely at all. And so what we're going to do in this series is go over my lists, and we're going to kind of spruce things up. I'm going to condense some lists, and we're going to make some changes to how my autoresponders work. Basically, I'm taking some information from a recent course that I took with Tammy Labreck, and I'm finally putting it to use. I'm finally going through my mailing list and overhauling everything. For the longest time, I've been following the Pareto approach, the 80-20 rule of 80% of my success comes from 20% of my actions, and that's writing and that's marketing, and all that stuff is very important. But the time comes when you have to take a look at the stuff you haven't touched in forever and fix it. And in my case, I've sort of let my mailing list go. I mean, I'm great about emailing the nonfiction list every week. I send out an email with a newsletter. But I have other lists that don't get touched at all. So if you sign up for my new releases for authors, for example, and I've got probably 4,000 people on that list, I only email it like once every 6 months. And that's sort of inexcusable. And so I need to cure that. And in this video series, you're going to see how I accomplish that. So today, part one, you're just going to see my existing mailing list, and I'm going to go over the rationale for why I set them up as I did, and some of the action steps that I'm going to be taking in the near future. So the first step is going to be to condense a couple of mailing lists, and we'll actually do that in the next segment, assuming Mailchimp cooperates and lets me do it. But in any case, without further ado, let's jump into that segment and you can see my lists. Okay, so we are looking at my website, chrisfoxwrites.com. And for those that are unfamiliar with the concept of mailing lists, what I'm talking about is I have these links here where you can see read free, and there's one for both fiction and for nonfiction. And all you have to do is click on that link and it takes you to a page where it's asking you for an email address, and then I'm offering in exchange a free book. You don't necessarily need to do that. Not all of my lists require you to, or offer even a free book. They have different reasons for people signing up. But in this particular case, it does. So what people would do is they would put in an email address and they would be added to one of my lists in Mailchimp. So Mailchimp is one of several mailing list providers that are very popular amongst authors. MailerLite is the other big one that most people use. But there's a number of other versions as well. Really, the takeaway I've gotten from talking to lots and lots of authors is that there is no best option. If you like lots of automation, then something like ActiveCampaign could be worth your time, but they are more expensive and they do require a little bit of overhead to keep running. So I tend to prefer Mailchimp simply because it's what I started with, and I've never run into anything that I need to do that it won't do for me. Okay, so what we're looking at here is every mailing list I have created. Now, many of these have been purged or combined in the past, and so you'll see some of them are down to double-digit numbers, like the 5K words per hour back matter. This one links to 5,000 words per hour, and I don't really do anything with that list, and so periodically I'll import these over into the nonfiction website signups since it's the same goal. Both of these lists are designed to notify people when I have a new release in the Write Faster, Write Smarter series. So when I put out plot writing recently, this is the list that gets an email. But unfortunately, that list only gets an email when I put out a new release, and I've learned the hard way that's a bad idea. Because the longer you go without contacting a list, the colder that list gets. And so what I'm going to need to do is a re-engagement campaign. And I'm going to have to combine these two lists together. So the 21-Day Novel Challenge is so named because it's linked to my YouTube channel, and I started it with the 21-Day Novel Challenge. This is kind of my golden list. This is the one that I have the highest engagement on most of the time. The number of clicks is low, only because I often include all the information in a visual format, and so people will read the email and not actually click through to the video. But I get more responses, people hitting reply to these emails, than I do any other list. So I've learned that emailing people every week is fine if I'm giving them content that they're interested in. And what I want to do is combine these two lists so that all these people who signed up and never hear from me and wonder why suddenly will. And what's going to happen when I launch that engagement campaign, or re-engagement campaign rather, is many of these people are probably going to unsubscribe. And I have no idea what that's going to look like, but we'll do this in a future segment of the video so you can actually see what the response is from my audience and how many authors, maybe some people watching this video, choose to unsubscribe once they see that they're going from only hearing about one of my books once or twice a year to every Friday, here's an email from me. We'll see if that works as expected, but it's one of many steps that I need to take. I also need to go through the rest of these lists, and anywhere that you see it 3 stars, it means there's people on my list that aren't performing. It's the 4-star list that I really want to emulate. So for fiction, that's my Void Ray Trilogy list, and for nonfiction, that's the 21-Day Novel Challenge. I want to replicate that with everything. I want all of these to be 4 stars. I'm going to combine the lists that are necessary, and you're going to see that through this series of videos. So today, really, I just wanted to get across what it is I'm trying to accomplish, which is overhauling my mailing lists and showing what's involved. And I wanted to invite you, if you're watching this around the time that it's released, to please comment and say, hey, Chris, this is what I need to know about mailing lists. This is the information that I have to have, or this is what is not working for me. These are questions that I had, and I can address those in the rest of the videos in this series. So you're definitely going to see me make a bunch of improvements to my mailing lists. You're going to get to watch me create new autoresponders. Those are emails that go out automatically after somebody signs out to the list. We're going to go through all that stuff. So you're going to learn, I hope, a lot about how this stuff can be done. But for now, I just wanted to show you sort of where I'm at. And honestly, it's not in a good place. Numerically, I mean, I've got a pretty good number of people. You know, I still have 13,000 after the last purge, and that's not bad. But I want more engagement, not more people. So again, I'm going to trim this list. You're going to get to see that happen in real time. And I look forward to your questions, guys. Anyway, I need to get back to the writing, so I will see you guys next week.